Hello and welcome to Hidden Roles. Today on Before You Buy, we'll take on the role of top galactic agents in Rising 5 Runes of Asteros. Rising 5 Runes of Asteros is a cooperative game where you're trying to solve a puzzle consisting of 4 runes, each representing a specific astrological symbol. But before we go over the positives and negatives of this game, let's go over the Before You Buy basics. This game takes about 40 minutes to get through, so that's 10 minutes to teach and 30 minutes to play. You can play this game with up to 5 players, or you can play this game solo. It has an accompanying app to go along with the game, or you could use a friend to act as a game master. So in Rising 5 Runes of Asteros, you team up with other players to take shared control over 5 different characters, each unique and has their own set of strengths and weaknesses to be used in specific situations. So on your turn, you take 1 or more actions, or pass, then draw at least 1 character card from the deck. Each card you play has a specific character on it. For every number of character cards you play, that's how many actions you get to take with that specific character. It's pretty simple. Players are going to continue to do things throughout the game to acquire silk cubes. Once you have 4 silk cubes, you can seal the gate, which means you take a guess at what you think the rune configuration is. Hopefully you got part of the puzzle right and get closer to finding the solution, as you'll be racing the in-game timer, which is an Eclipse marker. Every time something bad happens, like losing to a monster in combat, the Eclipse marker goes down 1 space. When it reaches the very end, which is a red moon, the world of Asteros is consumed and you lose. Womp womp. The first positive I want to mention in this game is the art and the overall look of this game. The art was done by the world famous Vincent Dutray, who did art for games like Broom Service, Elysium, Lewis and Clark, Pathfinder, Time Stories, etc, etc. This definitely engrossed me into this universe. The unique character cards and how each looked made it feel like I was taking part of something epic. Great bright colors for not only the board, but each detailed card. So for this next point, I didn't want to call it a positive or a negative, so I guess we'll just call this an equal, but I did have some issues with the app. So the main issue I had with the app was when I was trying to take a picture of the rune configuration on the board, the runes were showing up wrong on the app. As I'm reviewing this right now, the app in the Android store has a 3.7 out of 5-star review, so I don't think I was the only one experiencing these issues. I think it had to do with the specific lighting of taking pictures of these rune configurations. I think the biggest issue that people were mentioning was the specific lighting that it was in when you were taking a picture. So it's definitely hard to get this right 100% of the time, so I didn't want to say that this is a negative. I just wanted to mention that just in the case that you're experiencing problems as well. If you don't want to use the app, you could always use a friend who essentially sits out of the game and plays as a game master, sets the rune configuration in the beginning, does checks throughout the game, essentially a glorified symbol checker. So the first negative of the game that I wanted to mention was the combat. It wasn't really exciting to me. So when you're fighting a monster, you must roll the combat dice, adding any bonuses from supporting characters, and score equal or higher than the strength value of that monster. It's not a bad system, it just wasn't so engaging for me. I just didn't think that the monsters were too tough, even on heroic. With enough strategy and planning, you could get rid of them relatively easily. So I did think Nova was a little overpowered because if she lost combat, there was no penalty, which was amazing, so we used her a bunch of times throughout the game. So the second positive I did want to mention was the puzzle solving was fun and engaging. It was really cool to watch other people bounce off ideas off each other, thinking that they knew exactly what the rune configuration was, ultimately to be very wrong. The pressure really built up as you went throughout the game. Every time the Eclipse marker went down and down further to that red moon, each one of our guesses had to be more correct than the previous guesses, so there was no time for random things. You really had to know exactly what it was because you were running out of chances. I think they did a really good job of making the puzzle solving easy to understand and track. I was a huge fan of the different states that they introduced in this game. So if we look at the runes, outline means that that rune is unknown. If it's dark, that means it's not part of the code. Shining means it's part of the code, but it is not in the right position. And golden means it's part of the code and in the right position. I thought this was an amazing way to keep track of what was going on in the game, especially for new players. They could kind of figure out what the process was of trying to get to the right configuration. So another negative I wanted to mention was the overall replayability of this game. Even after beating the game on heroic, I don't feel the need to play this game again. I pretty much got the same feeling of an escape game. After I've completed it, do I really need to do it again? I guess if I was playing with new players and I really wanted to show them how the apps work with the different rune configurations, I think that would be the only use case. But overall, unless they add different things like another map or just different things to make the scenario a little bit different, then that would be the only reason for me to actually bring this game out and play again. The third positive I did want to mention was just the unique characters that they had in the game. There's 11 character cards for each character that you have to use throughout the game, so trying to figure out when to use them in what situation was very important. So you have to balance out, hey, should I use Nova now or wait till the end of the game? So Nova was the easiest to fight with, since she can choose any monster on the board and roll the combat dice. If her score equals or exceeds the monster's strength, then it is defeated and you'll receive the rewards. But with any other result, it is ignored. So this is amazing, and she's really powerful because every time you lose combat, like I mentioned before, this Eclipse marker goes down, but not having that penalty makes her a huge asset to the whole entire team. But when do you use her, beginning or end? That's up to your team to decide. So another important character is Oracle. He's the only one that possesses the ability to swap ruins. So once you use up all his cards, you're essentially doomed. Overall, Rising 5 Runes Asteros was an awesome cooperative game, easy to pick up and play. You could pretty much play this game with anyone. Every person playing the game could be involved and feel like they're actually contributing. This game plays and looks great. It's easy to teach and play with whomever. I think it would be great if they expanded on this game. Another board with different spots to go on, maybe different characters with more unique abilities, maybe adding more ruins to make it even more challenging. I definitely think that there's several ways they could expand in this universe. Well, let me know in the comments if you decide to buy this game. See you next time.